from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Good evening. Welcome to the National News broadcast coming to you live from the National News Studio here at Rupavahini. I'm Kasni Balachandra together with Stefan D'Alvis. Let's start off with a quick look at the headlines.
Litro gas distribution in Colombo. Litro gas distribution in Colombo within 18 hours. Gas stocks are to be sent to other areas in the next 2 days. All passenger transportation services will be conducted as usual tomorrow. The Prime Minister says that the President has never requested him to resign. Accusations regarding the opposition misleading the masses. The court orders to immediately arrest those who had given orders and carried out shooting in the Rambukhan incident. Russia warns Britain.
And we move on to those and other stories in detail. The Litro Gas Company says distribution of gas throughout the island is taking place upon arrival of a ship carrying gas to the country. Distribution of fuel to filling stations island-wide is also being carried out continuously. The Litro Gas Company further says that gas distribution in the Colombo district is to be conducted within a period of 18 hours. Accordingly, a speedy solution will be provided to the gas shortage in Colombo. Steps have also been taken to distribute gas to the outstations within 48 hours. A spokesman of the Litro Gas Company told the national television that this program is also being implemented island-wide. A large number of buses have been deployed for the continuous distribution of fuel. Filling station owners in the Nuwara district say they have adequate stocks of petrol and diesel in all towns in the district. Our correspondents say that queues at the filling stations are gradually getting shorter. Meanwhile, the Public Utility Commission says the power cut will be restricted to a period of 3 hours and 20 minutes tomorrow and the day after. Accordingly, power supply will be curtailed for a period of 2 hours from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. in the zones A to L and P to W. There will be power cuts of a duration of 1 hour and 20 minutes in these zones from 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. Minister Dilum Amunugama says public and private transportation services will be implemented without any obstruction.
Despite the fact of certain groups preparing for a work stoppage tomorrow, he has made a clarification in this regard to the media today. Minister Dilum Amunugama said that they have been able to come into an agreement after discussions with trade unions of the SLTB, railways and private bus transport yesterday. The minister added that they have requested the trade unions to refrain from participating in the strikes without adding burdens to the people who are already undergoing strenuous difficulties. Accordingly, the unions have acceded their request. Chairman of the SLTB, Kingsley Ranvaka, said that the board has informed regional managers and depot managers to engage in normal services tomorrow as well. The chairman added that preparations are underway to utilize the entire fleet of 5,600 buses for services tomorrow as well. Gamanu Vijayaratna of the Lanka Private Bus Owners Union said that they will not extend support to the strike. School children have to attend schools tomorrow. Their studies could not be destabilized. He further said that they will continue to engage in services as usual, thinking of the future of the students. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa says that the President has never made a request from him to resign, and he is confident that the President would never make such a request. The Prime Minister has made these remarks at a meeting with Chairman of Pradesh Sabhas, mayors and district leaders in the Temple Trees today.
A proposal has been passed unanimously on the occasion by the representatives regarding that Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa should not resign from his prime ministerial portfolio. The district leaders and local government institute heads have also expressed their opinion regarding the present situation. They have reiterated that Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa is the Prime Minister of a government elected by a majority vote of the people. Therefore, bowing down to the people's supremacy, the Prime Minister should continuously function in the post of Prime Minister. The Pradesh Sabha chairpersons and mayors have also decided to meet the President and personally convey their decision. It has also been pointed out that the government parliamentarians who were elected to parliament using the Mahinda Rajapaksa name and image have a full responsibility to protect the Prime Minister. They have added that MPs have no civilized right to destabilize the government by remaining independent at this crucial moment when an economic crisis has been created in the country. The Pradesh Sabha heads and mayors have also reiterated that if any group of government parliamentarians attempt to become independent, they must also keep in mind that the people in the ground level are preparing to respond. They have also stated that it is only under a government headed by Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa that the existing economic crisis could be solved. It has also been reiterated in the discussion that if there had been any instances of the country overcoming challenges under difficult circumstances in the recent past, such victories were recorded under the leadership of Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa said that at the time of them taking over the government, the country was in a state of complete collapse. At that time, not only the economy, but national security and people's confidence were in a state of disarray. The Prime Minister has recalled the enormous amount of work fulfilled in order to transform the country to the path of development from a barren state. The government was able to safeguard the people from the COVID pandemic. The people who were imprisoned in residences had been able to commence their daily routine once again. Just a limited faction is engaged in agitations in the Goal-Face Green. People's supremacy is connected to the constitution. The Prime Minister also said the people have elected them to resolve the economic crisis and not to flee. Any amount of accusations could be made, but they also should be proven. He further said that they are not able to see the country falling into anarchy. The Prime Minister added that they have a long and short-term economic management policy and confidence over winning the economic challenges. He added that the IMF has agreed to provide necessary aid to Sri Lanka upon explaining of the situation. The government will fulfill the program to resurrect the country by receiving even foreign aid. Some groups are trying to create problems at this juncture, and the government will not allow them to govern the country according to their wishes. The Premier also said that the President has never requested him to resign and expressed confidence that he would never make such a request. Prime Minister Mahinda Rajapaksa says no room will be left by any means to turn the country ungovernable. He further says that he is ready to act along with the decisions to maintain political stability in the country.
The Prime Minister was addressing the Mahasangha headed by Venerable Omalpe Sobithathera, who called on him at the Temple Trees last evening.
Venerable Sobithathera has enlightened the Prime Minister on the letter issued by the Mahanayaka Theras. The Mahasangha has also expressed opinion on the formation of an interim government. The Prime Minister has requested the Mahasangha to seek the agreement of all political leaders as well as the Mahanayaka Theras and other religious leaders. The Prime Minister further said that political stability is crucial to return the economy of the country to normalcy. Venerable Professor Agalkada Sirisumanatera, Venerable Rajavate Vappathera and Venerable Pahiyangala Ananda Sagarathera were also among the Mahasangha who have attended the meeting. The public protest in front of the Presidential Secretariat in Goal-Face, Colombo is being carried out for the 20th day today. Some groups were seen engaging in protests, calling slogans last night as well. Our correspondents say a somewhat traffic congestion, though not on the scale witnessed previously, prevailed in front of the Secretariat. Chanting of Pirit and Dhamma sermons on behalf of the protesters were conducted till dawn. Pathum Kerner, who has been identified as an organizer of the protest campaign, was subjected to the protest of the agitators when he arrived at the protest yesterday.
The protest march organised by the Samagi Janabala Vegya has reached Galigamua today. The march has commenced from the Kandy city under the leadership of opposition leader Sajid Premadasa yesterday. The march has resumed journey from the Mavanala town today. Opposition leader Sajid Premadasa and other people's representatives took part in all religious observances conducted. The march on its way to Colombo is expected to arrive in Dankotuva via Varakapula. It will arrive in Colombo on the 1st of next month.
National Freedom Front Nuwara District Parliamentarian Nimal Piyathissa accuses the opposition for misguiding the public. Addressing a media briefing in Kandy, the MP has stated that certain groups in the opposition are acting with the objective of receiving advantages from the current situation. Parliamentarian of the NFF Nimal Piyathissa said that opposition leader Sajid Premadasa has commenced the 6-day march yesterday. Firecrackers valued at millions of rupees were lit in this connection. The SJB is engaged in an extreme lawlessness with drunken behavior and carnival hysteria. The so-called opposition leaders are completely misleading the people by throwing sand in their eyes. The Frontline Socialist Party says that the opposition is in a state of sorrow over the people's uprising, even at a time when elections are far away.
Propaganda Secretary of the party, Prabodhu Jalgada, has made these remarks at a media briefing in Colombo today. Propaganda Secretary of the Frontline Socialist Party, Prabodhu Jalgada, said that the opposition is analysing the crisis as a management problem of the government. He added that, however, their party sees the issue as a problem of the entire economic policy. Therefore, the opposition does not have an answer. Their motive is to secure power. The Frontline Socialist Party Propaganda Secretary further said there should be a program to reduce the price of essential items. The shortage of commodity items should be eliminated. However, they do not have a program in this regard. Their objective is to increase vote base in a future election by making use of the people's protest. The Samagi Jana Balavege says Vasudeva Nanayakkara needs not to tell them on the lessons learned over the bringing of a no-confidence motion.
SJB parliamentarian SM Marika has made these remarks at a media briefing today. Parliamentarian Vasudeva Nanayakkara said that he is unable to understand as to why those who are organising massive positions on the May Day and engaging in street struggles failing to sign and present their no-confidence motion. He also said that he felt that something discreet is brewing up. He also has a feeling that the SJB is not interested in forming an all-party government. Parliamentarian SM Marika said that Vasudeva Nanayakkara is a person who has been sidelined in politics. Therefore, a person of his nature need not to have teach them how to form governments or to present no-confidence motions. An order has been given to immediately arrest persons who had ordered and carried out shooting at the incident that took place near the filling station in Rambukkana recently.
The order has been delivered to the Inspector General of Police in Kegol Magistrate Mrs. Vasana Navaratna today. A resident of Hirivadunna Narambadda Chaminda Lakshan was killed in the shooting. Kegol Magistrate Mrs. Vasana Navaratna in her verdict has stated that according to the judicial medical report at the post-mortem on the victim, it has been reported that the death has occurred due to multiple injuries caused as a result of shooting. Therefore, the IGP has been ordered to immediately arrest and produce before the judiciary the person who has given orders to shoot and the person who has carried out the shooting. Further hearings have been postponed till the 2nd of next month. Body parts of those killed in an explosion in Sainamaridu in Ampara have been exhumed after 3 years today.
The remains are scheduled to be presented for a DNA test. Parts of the bodies buried in the Ampara General Cemetery were exhumed in the presence of Ampara Chief District Judge and Magistrate Lushaka Kumari Dharmakirti. Judicial Medical Officer Dr. Ruchira Nadira have conducted the forensic investigation. The investigations are being conducted under the supervision of SP of the CID, Nihal Jayatilaka. The investigations are being carried out with the objective of the identification of DNA status of Sara Jasmine alias Pulastini Mahendran, who was the spouse of Mohammed Hasnun, the bomber of the St. Sebastian Church in Katuapitia on the Easter Sunday. It has also been pointed out that on the 26th of April 2019, a person named Mohammed Rilwan was engaged in a suicide bomb attack in a home at the Saindamaradu Tsunami village. Investigations have revealed that around 17 persons were in the house at the time of the attack. The DNA status was identified only in the body parts of 16 victims. The Kalmune Magistrate Courts has given permission to unearth body parts according to a request made by the CID.
President of the Ceylon Workers' Congress, Sendil Tondaman, says if the support of his party is needed to set up an interim government, the relevant parties should present their policies. He was addressing a media briefing at the party headquarters today.
Tomorrow there is a strike organized by the TUCC and the Ceylon Workers Congress in discussion with its hierarchies and discussion with the members of the Ceylon Workers Congress. We have taken a decision to support jointly take forward the protest along with TUCC. But as this protest is not against the plantation companies, we are not keen on going on a strike, for which we have also informed the TUCC members. The Ceylon Workers Congress will extend its support by tying a black band and going to work, because this strike they are doing is against the cost of living, hike in the price of fuel, hike in the food commodities, for which if we are going to stop one day work, so what happens is we are losing a one-day salary. So already people agrees that there is a huge cost of living which has occurred in Sri Lanka. So we don't want to burden the people by sacrificing one-day salary. So the Ceylon Workers Congress has organized more than 300 protests throughout the country, in which we will participate in the protest by showing our displeasure by trying black pants and continue our work in the plantation.
A fire has erupted in a building of St. Joseph's College, Maradana this afternoon. The fire service unit of Colombo has extinguished the fire. Flames emerged in an old building in front of the college. Students who were in the school at this time were not affected. Cause of the fire has not yet been determined and investigations are continuing.
Handing over of air tickets and relevant documents to the first group leaving for home-based employment in hospitality services in Israel has taken place today. The group included 5 persons. The job seekers are scheduled to leave today according to an agreement reached between the governments of Sri Lanka and Israel. The applications were submitted through online via an internet website of the Sri Lanka Foreign Services Employment Bureau. The selectors were chosen according to a lottery system by the Population and Migrant Authority of the Israeli government. A special feature has been that the jobs are being provided according to the qualifications and merits of the applicants. A hospitality service employee is entitled to a salary of 5,300 Israel shekels, which is equivalent to more than 500,000 Sri Lankan rupees. Job agreements have been signed for the first group for a period of 2 years. There is a possibility of extending the period of employment according to the preferences of the employer. The Sri Lanka Foreign Employment Bureau is the sole authority of the employment program in Sri Lanka. Therefore, the people are being advised not to make payments to any party with the objective of securing employment.
The Sampada ordination of the Asgiriya and Malvatu Mahaviharyas will commence on the 15th of next month. Measures have been taken to perform the observances, giving priority to ancient rituals with the participation of a restricted group. Registrar of the Asgiri Mahaviharaya, Venerable Madagama Dhammananda Thera, said that it has become impossible to engage in the Upasampada ceremonies in the previous years. The Venerable Thera has requested with respect from the Honorable Mahasangha of the Asgiriya and Malvadud Mahaviharayas to submit information and necessary documents of the Samanera bhikkhus who are seeking Upasampada ordination. The Ministry of Finance says a stern policy has to be implemented with regard to several issues, including controlling of payments relating to fuel and communication, limiting of water and power expenses, and halting of renting of buildings. The objective is the vibrant maintenance of the state service. A communique issued by the Finance Ministry yesterday said that public finances should be handled with greater responsibility and care in order to provide an efficient and constructive service to the general public.
The restrictions in expenses also include the termination of foreign educational tours and training being carried out using local funds, and the suspension of numerous allowances and payments being carried out on the ministerial and institutional levels without approval of the Cabinet of Ministers. The other limitations are not to establish new commitments pertaining to the implementation of welfare relief or development programs. It has also been pointed out that the cost management strategy should be adopted in the implementation of projects utilizing local funds. All procurement activities pertaining to purchasing of goods and activities relating to the commencement of new projects should be suspended. Any projects relating to the acquisition of land or other assets without proper approval should also be suspended. Recruitment of personnel for appointments for which preliminary work has been carried out should also be postponed. It has also been proposed to halt all welfare and development programs and payments of which cabinet approval has not been given. All welfare and relief programs should be subjected to re-evaluation. The benefits should be restricted only to the low-income earners and essential recipients of such programs. There is no authority to exceed the expenses of allocations. No payment should be carried out with the expectations of receiving benefits later on. The Ministry of Finance reiterates that there has been reports of usage of vehicles exceeding the approved levels. The relevant authorities should take special care to use only one vehicle and within the stipulated fuel limit. All steps have to be taken to suspend expenses of non-priority basis on opening ceremonies in state institutions and seminars. The public funds should not be utilized on such events. Treasury Secretary K.M. Mahinda Siriwardena has issued a circular in this connection for the attention of all heads of government ministries, departments, state corporations and constituted boards. The proposals have been presented with the sole objective of further strengthening the economic stabilization program and to establish a conducive and sustainable state financial management. The communique issued under the signature of the Secretary of the Treasury also states that the corporation being extended by the state service for the enhancement of the living condition of the people is greatly appreciated.
Foreign stories on the other side of this break. Welcome back, and we move on to international news. Russian energy giant Gazprom says it has halted gas exports to Poland and Bulgaria over the country's refusal to pay for supplies in rubles. The firm said services will not be restored until payments are made in the Russian currency.
The latest development comes after Russian President Vladimir Putin ordered unfriendly countries to pay for gas in Russian currency rubles. Poland confirmed supplies had stopped. Countries pay in advance for their gas, but as they have gone to pay for future supplies, Russia has stood firm on its demand made last month that new purchases need to be paid in rubles. The halting of supplies to Poland and Bulgaria was the start of Russia exerting economic pressure on Europe, and a move which could escalate with other European nations, as reported by foreign media. Poland's Deputy Foreign Minister Marcin Przydacz said the country could cope without Gazprom's gas and had taken some decisions many years ago to prepare for such a situation. Marcin Prasad further said that there were options to get the gas from other partners, including the United States and Gulf nations. Polish state gas company PGNiG, which bought 53% of its gas imports from Gazprom, is the first quarter of this year.
The 193 members of the United Nations General Assembly have adopted by consensus a resolution requiring the 5 permanent members of the Security Council to justify their use of the veto. The push for reform, which was greeted with applause in the chamber, was revived by Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The measure is intended to make veto holders the United States, China, Russia, France and the United Kingdom to pay a higher political price when they use the veto to strike down a Security Council resolution, said one ambassador who asked to remain anonymous. It is unclear if the 5 permanent members will use the veto less or more, as they could propose controversial texts. They know their rivals will veto only to force them to justify their stance publicly. First proposed more than 2 years ago, the measure provides for the General Assembly to be convened with 10 working days after a veto to hold a debate on the situation as to which the veto was cast, according to the text.
China has condemned an attack that killed 3 of its citizens in Pakistan, demanding that Islamabad fight against those involved. 3 Chinese tutors and a Pakistani driver were killed in a suicide bombing near Karachi University's Confucius Institute yesterday. The separatist Baloch Liberation Army said it carried out the attack. The incident poses a key challenge for a government freshly installed after weeks of political turmoil. A long-time ally and key investor in the country, China is heavily involved in large development projects across Pakistan. But the BLA, which is banned in Pakistan, opposes Chinese investment in the country. College Kandy has secured the Mahela Sangha Challenge Trophy in the cricket match played against the Nalanda College Colombo. The 88th group of the Ananda College team has sponsored the 2-day match. It was conducted for the 3rd occasion. The Trinity team has scored 275 runs in their first innings. However, the Nalanda team chasing the victory was bundled out for 143 runs. The Nalanda team in their follow-on has scored 153 runs for the loss of 7 wickets. The award was handed over to the Trinity team as they scored the highest number of runs in the first innings. Principal of Nalanda College, Tilak Wathuheva, has presided over the awards presentation ceremony. The annual cricket encounter between the Royal College Colombo and St Benedict's College Cartagena has ended in a draw. The Royal team batting first has scored 286 runs for the loss of 7 wickets. The Benedict's team was bowled out for 144 runs in their first innings. The team in their follow-on has scored 134 runs for the loss of 8 wickets when the play came to an end. Royal College has recorded the highest score of the first innings.
And with that, we wrap up tonight's English news. We'll see you tomorrow at the very same time. Until then, good night and stay safe.